Welcome back to Easy English Talk Podcast.
Welcome back to Easy English Talk Podcast, everyone. It's so great to have you here with us today. Priya, hey, how are you doing? How has your day been so far?
Ryan, honestly, it's been a good day. I had a quiet morning, which I really appreciated. How about you? How has your day been going?
It's been a full day, lots of things happening, but I'm happy to be here recording with you. There's something really nice about sitting down and having a real conversation, you know?
I completely agree. It always feels like a little reset in the middle of a busy day. I always look forward to these conversations.
Same here, same here. Now, before we get into today's topic, I want to take a moment and speak directly to everyone listening or watching right now. Wherever you are in the world, whether you're at home, on your commute, taking a walk, or sitting at your desk, we are really glad you are here.
Yes, and we genuinely mean that. You chose to spend your time with us, and that means a lot to both of us.
I also want to ask you something. Is this podcast helping you improve your English? Is it helping you feel more confident when you listen, when you speak, or when you understand conversations in English? We really want to know.
Please share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us where you are listening from, what you are enjoying, and what topics you would love us to cover next. Your feedback truly helps us grow.
Absolutely. We read your comments and they inspire us every single episode. Now, today, we are discussing how to balance work, life, and worship in Ramadan.
And if you are listening to this episode, there's probably a reason. Maybe Ramadan is coming up, or it is already here, and you are feeling the pressure of trying to do everything at once.
Exactly. And by the end of this episode, you will have clear, practical ideas that you can actually use. We are going to help you understand why this balance feels so hard, and then walk through real solutions together.
So stay with us, because this episode is going to be genuinely useful. Whether you are Muslim and observing Ramadan yourself, or you simply want to understand more about it, there is something valuable here for everyone.
Let's start by talking about the challenge itself. Ramadan is a deeply meaningful month for millions of people around the world, but it also brings a very real and very human challenge.
That challenge is trying to maintain everything in your normal life, your job, your responsibilities, your family time, while also adding a whole spiritual dimension on top of it.
And it is not a small thing. You are fasting from before sunrise to sunset, which means no food, no water, and for many people, significantly less energy throughout the day.
At the same time, the expectation is to pray more, read more Quran, give more charity, and be more patient. It is a lot to hold all at once.
So why does it feel so overwhelming for so many people? I think one of the biggest reasons is that people try to keep everything exactly the same as before Ramadan.
Yes, that is such an important point. People walk into Ramadan expecting their productivity to stay at the same level, their social life to remain the same, and their spiritual practice to increase. And that is simply not realistic.
It's like trying to run at the same speed with less fuel in your body. Your body and your mind are working differently during Ramadan, and that needs to be acknowledged.
And when people do not acknowledge that, they end up feeling guilty. They feel like they are failing at work, failing at worship, or failing at home. And that guilt makes everything harder.
That is such a real experience. And I think a lot of people carry that guilt silently, because Ramadan is supposed to be a joyful and spiritual time, so admitting you're struggling feels uncomfortable.
But the truth is, struggling does not mean you are doing Ramadan wrong. It means you are human, and you are trying your best in a genuinely demanding situation.
So the first thing we want to say clearly is this: give yourself permission to admit that Ramadan is hard sometimes. That honesty is actually the starting point for everything getting better.
Once you accept that this month requires a different approach, you can start making changes that actually work. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about now.
Let's start with work. This is where a lot of the tension begins, because most people cannot simply stop working during Ramadan. Life continues, deadlines continue, responsibilities continue.
And for people who work in non-Muslim environments or countries, there is sometimes an added pressure of not wanting to seem less productive or less committed because of their faith.
That pressure is real, and it is worth acknowledging. But there are practical ways to manage your work during Ramadan without burning out or compromising your worship.
The first strategy is to adjust your schedule as much as you possibly can. If your job gives you any flexibility, use it wisely. Try to do your most important and mentally demanding work in the morning.
The morning hours, especially right after suhoor, which is the pre-dawn meal, are often the most alert and focused hours of the day for someone who is fasting.
Your body has just had food and water, your mind is fresh, and the day has not yet worn you down. That window of time is genuinely valuable, so use it for your hardest tasks.
And then, as the day goes on and your energy naturally drops, shift to lighter tasks. Answer emails, attend routine meetings, do administrative work that does not require deep concentration.
This idea of matching your tasks to your energy levels is something productivity experts talk about all the time, but it becomes especially important during Ramadan.
Exactly. You are not trying to fight your body. You are working with it. And that approach makes a big difference.
Another important thing to consider at work is communication. If you feel comfortable, let your manager or close colleagues know that you are fasting during Ramadan.
You do not have to go into great detail. A simple explanation is usually enough. Most people are understanding when they know what is happening.
And when people understand, they are less likely to misread your slightly slower pace or your decision to skip the lunch gathering as a lack of effort or enthusiasm.
Communication removes assumptions, and assumptions in the workplace can create unnecessary stress that you really don't need during this month.
It also gives you a natural opportunity to educate people around you about Ramadan, which can be a really positive and meaningful exchange.
Now, let's talk about something that many people don't plan for, and that is managing your energy throughout the day. Because energy management during Ramadan is its own skill.
When you are fasting, your body is using its stored energy. That process affects your focus, your mood, and your physical stamina. If you ignore this, you will crash by midday.
One of the most helpful habits you can build is taking short, intentional rest breaks during the day. Even 5 to 10 minutes of sitting quietly, closing your eyes, or doing a short breathing exercise can help restore some focus.
These small breaks are not laziness, they are strategic. You are giving your brain a moment to recover so that you can continue working without making unnecessary mistakes.
Another thing that plays a huge role in energy management is what you eat at suhoor. A lot of people either skip suhoor entirely or eat foods that give them a quick burst of energy, but leave them feeling weak an hour later.
Suhoor is not just a cultural practice. It is genuinely important for how your body functions through the day. Eating foods that are rich in complex carbohydrates, proteins, and healthy fats helps your energy last much longer.
Things like oats, eggs, whole grain bread, nuts, and fruits are excellent choices. They release energy slowly and keep you feeling more stable throughout the hours of fasting.
And hydration at suhoor is equally important. Drinking enough water before the fast begins can significantly reduce feelings of fatigue and headache during the day.
So suhoor is really your foundation for the entire day. Treat it seriously, and it will support you in ways that go beyond just feeling less hungry.
Now, let's move into one of the most sensitive parts of this balance, which is worship. Because worship is the heart of Ramadan, and yet it is often the first thing people feel they are not doing enough of.
There is a very common pattern where people start Ramadan with big spiritual goals. They plan to pray every Taraweeh prayer, read the entire Quran, attend every lecture, and be in a constant state of spiritual reflection.
And then, by the second week, they are exhausted. They miss a Taraweeh, they feel guilty, they fall behind on their Quran reading, and they feel like they have failed.
This is such a painful cycle, and it comes from a good place. People genuinely want to make the most of this blessed month, but the way they plan for it is not always realistic.
The solution is not to lower your spiritual ambitions. It is to build your worship practice in a way that is sustainable over the full 30 days of Ramadan.
Consistency is more valuable than intensity. A small amount of worship done every single day throughout the month is worth far more than a huge effort in the first week, followed by exhaustion and guilt.
The Prophet, peace be upon him, is reported to have said that the most beloved deeds to God are those done consistently, even if they are small. That principle is directly relevant here.
So instead of trying to read 5 pages of Quran in the morning, 3 pages at noon, and 5 more at night, maybe you read 5 pages at one calm, focused time of day when you can truly connect with what you are reading.
Quality of worship matters. Rushing through your prayers or your Quran reading just to check a box is not the spirit of Ramadan. Taking your time and being present is far more meaningful.
And this connects to something important, which is the idea of worship beyond rituals. Ramadan is not only about prayer and fasting, it is also about your character, your patience, your kindness, and your intentions.
Being patient with a difficult colleague at work is worship. Being kind to your family when you are tired and hungry is worship. Giving someone your full attention when they need to talk is worship.
These everyday acts of goodness, when done with intention and awareness, are a form of worship that fits naturally into any schedule. You do not need extra time to practice them.
That perspective is so freeing. It means that Ramadan is not something you do separately from your life. It is something that transforms the way you live your life.
Now, let's talk about the home and family side of this balance, because that is where a lot of the invisible work happens during Ramadan.
Ramadan brings beautiful family moments, shared meals, conversations, and a sense of togetherness. But it also adds extra tasks: cooking for iftar, preparing sahur, managing children who may also be fasting or learning to fast.
And in many households, this extra domestic work falls unevenly on certain family members, often the women. That inequality can create real stress and resentment if it is not addressed.
One of the most practical things a family can do is have an honest conversation at the beginning of Ramadan about how responsibilities will be shared. Who is cooking, who is cleaning up, who is handling the children's routines.
Dividing tasks fairly and intentionally makes a huge difference. It means that no one person is carrying too much, and everyone gets some time to rest and worship without feeling overwhelmed.
It also teaches children something important. They see that Ramadan is a shared experience, not just something one person handles while everyone else benefits.
And when it comes to iftar itself, the breaking of the fast, it does not have to be an elaborate meal every night. Simple, nourishing food is just as meaningful as a large spread.
Giving yourself permission to have simple iftars several nights a week takes enormous pressure off the person cooking. And honestly, sometimes the simple meals are the ones people remember most fondly.
There is also something to be said about being realistic with social expectations during Ramadan. It is a month when people want to connect, share meals, visit family, and attend community events.
And while all of that is beautiful, it can also leave you with very little personal time for rest or quiet worship. Saying no to some social invitations is not being antisocial. It is being wise.
Protecting some of your evenings for rest, for quiet prayer, for reading, or simply for sleep is a form of self-care that supports everything else you are trying to do during this month.
Sleep is honestly one of the most underestimated parts of surviving Ramadan well. With suhoor happening before dawn and Fajr prayer following shortly after, many people are operating on significantly less sleep than usual.
And sleep deprivation affects everything. It affects your mood, your patience, your focus at work, and even the quality of your worship. A tired mind cannot connect deeply to anything.
So protecting sleep wherever you can is not a luxury during Ramadan. It is a genuine necessity. If you can take a short nap after duhur prayer in the early afternoon, that can restore a surprising amount of energy.
Even 20 to 30 minutes of rest during the afternoon can significantly change how the rest of your day feels. It is a small investment with big return.
Now, I want to talk about something that does not get mentioned enough, and that is mental and emotional health during Ramadan.
Yes, this is really important. Ramadan is often portrayed as a purely joyful and spiritually uplifting time, and for many people it genuinely is. But for others, it also surfaces difficult emotions.
Some people feel lonely during Ramadan, especially if they are living far from family or in a place where Ramadan is not widely observed. The communal aspect of the month can feel very distant.
Others carry grief during this time, missing loved ones who are no longer here. Ramadan has a way of bringing memories and emotions to the surface, and that can be both beautiful and painful.
And some people simply feel overwhelmed by the combination of fasting, working, and trying to meet spiritual expectations. That emotional weight is real and deserves to be acknowledged.
If you are feeling any of these things, please know that it does not make you ungrateful or spiritually weak. It makes you human, and there are ways to take care of your emotional health during this month.
One of the most important things is to not isolate yourself with your feelings. Talk to someone you trust, a friend, a family member, or a community leader. Sharing what you are carrying makes it lighter.
Journaling can also be a powerful tool during Ramadan. Taking a few minutes each day to write down your thoughts, your reflections, your gratitude, and your struggles helps you process what you are experiencing.
It also becomes a beautiful record of your Ramadan journey. Looking back on those pages after the month is over can be deeply moving and meaningful.
And connecting with the Quran, not just as a reading exercise, but as a source of comfort, can be incredibly healing during difficult emotional moments. Many people find that certain verses speak directly to what they are feeling.
The Quran says that, verily, with hardship comes ease. That is not just a comforting phrase. For many people, it is a lived experience, a reminder that difficulty is not permanent.
Holding on to that promise during the harder moments of Ramadan can bring real peace. And that peace is itself a gift of the month.
Let's now talk about productivity more broadly, because I think there is a mindset shift that can change everything about how you experience Ramadan.
Most of us live in a culture that celebrates doing more, achieving more, producing more. And that culture does not pause for Ramadan. If anything, it can make Ramadan feel like an obstacle to productivity.
But what if you changed the measure of success during this month? What if instead of asking how much you got done, you asked how present you were, how patient you were, how connected you were to what matters most?
That shift in perspective is genuinely transformative. When you stop measuring Ramadan by your usual productivity standards, you start to see the month differently.
You begin to notice the quiet moments of gratitude during the fast. You appreciate the warmth of breaking your fast with someone you love. You feel the stillness of a night prayer more deeply.
These are the real rewards of Ramadan, and they are easy to miss when you are running from task to task trying to keep up with everything.
Slowing down intentionally is not falling behind. It is choosing a different kind of progress, one that nourishes your soul instead of just ticking boxes.
And interestingly, many people report that after Ramadan, they feel more focused, more disciplined, and more grateful than they did before. The month teaches you things about yourself that normal life simply does not.
That is one of the most beautiful outcomes of this month. It is not just a religious obligation, it is a school. And every year, if you approach it with openness, you graduate a little wiser.
Now, let's bring all of this together in a practical way. If someone is listening to this and thinking, okay, this all sounds good, but where do I actually start? What would you say to them, Priya?
I would say start with one thing. Not 10 things, not 5 things. Pick one area of your life, whether it is work, worship, or home, and make one specific change this week.
That is such wise advice. Trying to restructure everything at once is exhausting and usually does not last. But one meaningful change made consistently builds real momentum.
Maybe you decide that you will do your most important work in the morning and protect that time carefully. Or maybe you decide to simplify your iftar 3 nights a week. Or maybe you commit to 5 minutes of quiet reflection after every prayer.
Whatever it is, make it specific, make it realistic, and make it yours. Ramadan is deeply personal, and your balance will look different from someone else's balance.
And please, be kind to yourself throughout this process. You will have days when everything flows beautifully, and you will have days when it all feels like too much. Both are part of the experience.
On the hard days, remember why you are doing this. Remember that the intention behind your effort matters. Remember that even your struggle to balance everything is itself a form of devotion.
Ramadan is not asking you to be perfect. It is asking you to be present, to be sincere, and to keep trying. And that is something every single one of us can do.
I love that, Priya. Keep trying. That is really the whole message of this episode, isn't it?
It really is. And I think that message is also deeply connected to learning English, which is what our listeners are doing every day by tuning into this podcast.
Oh, that is such a beautiful connection. Learning a language is also about consistency over perfection. It is about showing up, making mistakes, and continuing to grow without giving up.
Every episode you listen to, even if you do not understand every word, is building your ability to follow conversations, recognize vocabulary, and feel more comfortable with the language.
And we are so honored to be part of that journey for you. Whether you have been listening since our very first episode or you just discovered us today, welcome, and we are glad you are here.
Learning English through real, meaningful conversations is one of the most effective ways to build fluency, and we try to make every episode worth your time and attention.
All right, let us bring today's conversation to a close. We talked about the real challenge of balancing work, life, and worship during Ramadan, and we explored honest, practical ways to make that balance more achievable.
We talked about adjusting your work schedule to match your energy, communicating openly with colleagues, eating and resting well, and building a worship practice that is consistent rather than intense.
We also talked about sharing home responsibilities fairly, protecting your sleep, being realistic about social commitments, and taking care of your emotional and mental health throughout the month.
And we talked about shifting your mindset, measuring success differently during Ramadan, and approaching the month not as a disruption to your life, but as a transformation of it.
To everyone listening, whether you are observing Ramadan this year or simply learning and reflecting alongside us, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for spending this time with us.
You are not just improving your English by being here, you are also expanding your understanding of the world and the people in it, and that is something truly worth celebrating.
We hope this episode gave you something real to take with you, something that makes this Ramadan, or whatever season of life you are in, a little easier and a little more meaningful.
And if this episode helped you in any way, please share it with someone who might need it. A friend, a colleague, a family member. Sharing is such a simple act, and it can make a real difference.
Also, if you haven't already, we warmly invite you to explore the other episodes available on Easy English Talk podcast. We cover a wide range of topics that are not only great for improving your English, but also genuinely useful for your everyday life and personal growth.
There is so much waiting for you on the channel. Topics about communication, relationships, habits, mindset, culture, and so much more. Each episode is designed to help you grow both as an English learner and as a person.
So browse through the episodes, find what speaks to you, and keep listening. Every episode you complete is a step forward in your English journey, and we are cheering for you every single step of the way.
From both of us here at Easy English Talk Podcast, take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep going. Goodbye for now, everyone.